Hey, Truth Seekers, it's Nathaniel Carolyn here, and Carolyn's going to be doing a deck profile for Brianna, the Universal deck.
Boom. All right, so we built our universal deck. It is going to be our purple deck, which also goes with our Alpha Luxe sleeves. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so just keeping in theme with purple because I felt like it. It is a universal deck, so it really doesn't matter what power cards you run. I will probably be changing these out to just be more flashy because I can. But I run 4 faith and I run 3 fasting because fasting is amazing in this deck because of the 2 universals. I start off with running 3 Mercifier. These sleeves are slick. They're new. Anyway, I run 3 Mercifier because if I need to, I can use him with 1 fasting, or if I want to swap him out with something else, because there is a lot of growth stages within this deck. So I can use him as a swap, or I can use him as a 2 for 7. I run 3 Sea Curl because sometimes that one card can just put you over the edge. I'll probably end up trading out Sea Curl eventually when we mix it with cross trainers, but currently I just need, I've basically kind of maxed out my growth stages and I just need more Animo in the deck. So that's why I run the Sea Curl. I currently have 3 Quillo. I do not run the level 2 Quillo because there is not a universal level 2 Quillo. And I like to stick with the all monocolor deck theme. So that is what I have done here. I run 3 Floorline level 1 and 3 Floorline level 2. And the ability on here says, as long as this card is in your small group, there is no limit to the number of power cards you can play from your hand into your power pool. Which is great if you run, one of those pulls as you draw that you just like draw all your power cards, because that happens sometimes. I run 2 Herald Dash. Being a 3 for 8 is kind of meh, but all players may select a story card from their discard pile and shuffle it back into their deck is pretty good. Eventually, I probably will end up trading out Herald Dash, though. But for right now, Herald Dash is great. I run 3 of our prayer group because I really like my dragons and my dinosaurs. And this says, you may activate this card using up to 6 of any power. When activated, this card is worth 3 victory points for each power that it is used to activate it. So you can essentially get 18 points for a single card. And if you have all 3 of your fasting out, you can run all 3 of your fasting to play this card and get your 18 points, and then have your other 3 power cards used for something else. So because I use Brianna, typically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these underneath her as her ability. You can put 3 cards underneath her at the beginning of the game. So usually what I'm going to do is put a fasting, so just in case I'm not running into my power cards like I need to. And this is going to be one of those cards that I slide underneath her. Next, we have our boy Alpha Luxe. So I run 3 of level 1, level 2, and level 3. He is a 3 for 15. So, you could always run both of these at the same time, which is a lot of points, and it's great. And I did that a couple times in playtesting, and it was wonderful.
Hard flex.
It is very hard flex. Very, very hard flex. And, of course, I run 2 of our Alpha Luxe Ultra, and his ability is when this card is activated, and any animal also activated in the same turn gains plus 2 victory points. He is a 3 for 10, but it's not bad because he's basically a 3 for 12 if you're adding something else. Moving on to Cinnies, I'm starting off with Flipper because he is the smallest and equally the largest amount of points on my Cinnies that I have. So if he is under 40 points, my opponent only has to face 7. If he's over, he gets to face 17. Pretty great. I now run Judgeweed. As long as a Cinny is active, your opponent may not reveal any Cinnies. Hookworm. As long as a Cinny is active, all your opponent's Animo require 1 extra universal cost in order to be activated. Grump Roast. As long as the cine remains active, your opponent may have no more than 3 animo in their small group at a time. If more than 3 animo are in your opponent's small group when this card is revealed, you must discard down to 3. Ba Bubble. As long as this card remains active, your opponent may not have more than 1 animo of the same name in their small group at a time, which is great against like Stagnetic and stuff. Globster. As long as the cine remains active, your opponent must discard the top card of their deck as soon as their turn begins before drawing cards. I have Grumble because he's just big. And finally, I run Walrus Mega because he's big. Moving on to equipment. There's not much equipment in this set that does really well with Universal, but this one works. When it's attached to an animo, this card increases its activation cost by 1 Universal power. The animo to whom this card is attached gains 5 victory points when activated.
Yep.
So he's great. And then moving on to story cards. I run 1 Sandcastle. Search your deck for either 1 Ultra or 1 Mega Animo. The Rich Fool. Draw the bottom 3 cards of your deck. And similarly, place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, and if you do, you get to draw 3 cards. Fishing Nets. Draw 2 cards. If this was the last card in your hand, you draw 4 instead. The Runaway. Select any animo from your discard pile and return it to your hands. Good Soil. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Place 1 animo you find there in your hand and shuffle your deck afterwards. I run 2 Copper Coins. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may place up to 2 power cards you find there directly into your power pool. Because this deck does not do a lot of extra power card looking or searching or anything like that, this card is very crucial. And similarly, because there's a lot of growth stages, I run 2 Mustard Seed. And Mustard Seed says discard 2 cards from your hand, search your deck for up to 2 growth stages for an animo in your small group, and grow that animo. Shuffle your deck. If you do not have 2 cards in your hand to discard, you cannot play this card. So this is great with all of the growth stages that I have. And again, this is our Universal Brianna deck. So, yeah.
All right. So that was the Universal Brianna deck. In the meantime, Truth Seekers, keep learning virtues and defeating cities.